Sorry, I want to go to the VMix line now and bring in ESPN Lions beat reporter Eric Woodyard. You can get him on Twitter at @E_Woodyard. Eric, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for the time, buddy.
Hey, Eric.
Man, what's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
What's the word?
Good,
What's the
man.
word?
Doing great. What's going on with you?
Man, I'm hanging out. I'm chilling. It was a long weekend, so.
That's what I was gonna say. Now, what happens? Give us an example of like the Sunday night of a Lions beat reporter who has worked all that draft. Do you just crash, or what do you do?
Man, I got home. I watched that new Tupac series on Hulu.
Okay. How is it? How is it, by the way?
Basketball games. I hung out with him and Flynn a little bit and just chilled, man. I had to get my mind off everything a little bit.
That's fantastic stuff, Eric. Again, thanks for the time here. What do you make of what Brad Holmes said to the media this weekend? Just about, we don't draft scared, we don't trade scared. We're going to pick players that we absolutely love. Can you comment on just the mindset of Brad Holmes throughout this whole draft?
I respect his mindset because he has been 100% secure in what he's done. Now, we saw the reaction. You know, a lot of the experts were scratching their heads with some of those decisions. But, I mean, for him to have the balls and say, hey, this is the guys that we need for our team, I mean, you got to respect that. I mean, he didn't backpedal. I mean, he came out and said that was who they wanted to get. So, from that regard, you know, I got to respect that because a lot of the, you know, GMs from the past haven't been that bold to come out and say that and just stand on it. So, I'm big on if you're gonna do something, you stand on what you want to do, and I mean I respect that just from that stance of doing that. Now I mean the actual decision part, that's a different, you know, with who they decide to bring in, that's a different thing. But I mean I do respect, you know, the balls to come out and say, hey, this is what we doing, and hey, this is what we see for our team.
I respect and I agree with you 100%. At the end of the day, you ain't gotta like it. This is what we like. This is what we going. I appreciate that. Looking at this draft, give me the player that you most were excited about the Lions taking, and then give me the one that most made you scratch your head.
I'm going to say Gibbs for both of them because it's like he has this, I know that's a little cop-out answer, but I mean like.
It is, but I like it.
It's this intrigue of him. I want to see how good he is. I mean, you know, they gave away DeAndre Swift and, you know, basically clearing the way for him to come in and do his thing. But it's also, wow, you got him that early where you could have stayed at 6 and still got him at, you know, originally at maybe 18 or, you know, any of those as well and done some things. But I'm intrigued both ways with that pick, man. It's a very intriguing pick, you know, because, I mean, running backs, we know they don't go that high. And he was shocked. I mean, we heard what he said. He came to Travis and said, I'm shocked. You know, when a guy is saying, I'm shocked to go that high. I mean, I have never heard that ever. I've covered, you know, sports over 10 years, and I've never heard a guy say he was shocked at being drafted that high. So, I mean, it's an intrigue, man. The guy's he seems like he's ready to work, though. He came into the press conference with his family, and, you know, I'm just locked in to see how this plays out because it is very intriguing.
That's funny as hell. You're absolutely right. He was like, "Wait, what? Me? They call my name?" But let me follow up to that question. Hey, me? You talking about me right here? Let me follow up to that question though. Eric, is what does success look like for Jahmyr Gibbs? Because there's so many people in Detroit that's like, "Damn, why they draft him 12? I feel like it's a reach. They got him at 12." What does success look like for Jahmyr Gibbs for people to be like, "I now understand what he was doing at 12 with Jahmyr Gibbs"?
I think if you look at, man, if he's able to get around 200 touches some way, you know. Around that, you know, a little under that, somewhere there where he's passing, he's catching passes, he's getting runs. I think kind of filling in that role of DeAndre Swift. I mean, we never saw Swift really get off to his full potential because he was hurt, you know, so much. So I think being durable is number one. If he's able to stay durable and he's able to get, I would say try to target that 200 range or some type of touches in that magnitude. I mean, this offense is going to be loaded. So nobody's asking him to come in and be the savior or anything. He just has to come in and produce. He has to come in and be reliable. So I think that's a success for him is to come in and do those things and stay healthy, man. Stay a guy that they can depend on. You got Montgomery that's going to come in and fill that Jamal Williams type role. I mean, if he can come in and, you know, give us some flash, pizzazz, give us a little bit of that swag. I mean, I think guys will be happy with that.
Yeah, Eric, it's Maz. Thanks for coming on with us today. Eric Woodyard joins us, ESPN beat reporter for the Lions. I'm going to save the Jack Campbell question for Braylon, so I'm going to go to Hendon Hooker. What's your take on them getting Hendon Hooker in the third round? And did you like him coming into the draft, or was there a quarterback you liked better?
I like Hendon Hooker, especially where they were able to get him. I mean, I didn't think they should have wasted, you know, a first-round pick on a quarterback. And I went to the Senior Bowl, so I saw, Agnew and those guys kind of plotting on him a little bit, and it was in the back of my mind. I even took a picture and posted it on Twitter. I was like, man, that might be a good fit, Hendon Hooker. I know he had that HBCU background with, Brad Holmes and those guys, and he knew the family and, just that North Carolina A&T connection. So it made sense. I mean, he's coming in, he's in a situation with a guy that wants to see him succeed. I mean, as you know, brother, you a pro, you got guys that's coming in, I know your background, that really believe in you. I mean, that gives you all the sense in the world, that extra confidence of having that. So I think this was a good situation. You don't got to come in and be the guy. There's no expectations right away. You get him in the third round, you're not wasting one of your first or second round picks. I really like that pick, and I think, he has the potential, to really bring something to Detroit that they haven't saw in the type of quarterback that he is if he's able to come in and kind of take over next after Jared Goff. So I think I really did like that pick, and I like the situation that they got him in that third round.
Yeah, I hope you're right, Eric. But that said, let's say this year now, who is your backup quarterback coming into this year? Is he still out there?
It could be, man. I mean, they believe in Suffield. I haven't saw enough of him. I mean, for me to have really a strong opinion on him. I look at the two guys last year, Blau and Boyle, and we saw pretty much from training camp that those weren't the guys. So, I mean, anything is an upgrade at this point over those guys. Because, I mean, we saw them, and they struggled, with making, strong passes and even OTA. So, I mean, we would laugh at some of the other beat writers like, man, they got to do something at that quarterback position. So, I don't think we saw enough of Suffield to really know what he is. So, I think right away you got to get him that. I mean, we don't know even the health-wise of Hendon. We saw a couple social media clips and what his doctor said, but I mean, we don't know what's his status as far as health-wise this year. But I think they do really believe in Suffield. So I mean, until he show me anything different, he got to be the backup at this point.
All right, everybody wants to know. We got to talk about the player that got picked at 18 overall. I've done enough talking about Jack Campbell, so I'm gonna zip my mouth. Eric, help me understand why the Detroit Lions went and got Jack Campbell at 18.
Now, that was one of the head scratchers for me. I'm not going to lie. I will say this. The guy was a super, super humble guy. He came in, he kind of gave me a little bit of that Dan Campbell, demeanor, but how humble and how much he wants to work. But just, it was a head scratch because it was so many guys that they could have got, and I think he still would have been available at a later time. But, I mean, from what Brad was saying, that was a guy they targeted. He was a guy that was high on their personal mock, list of guys who were available. And I look at this, what he was able to do in college and in Iowa and, some of the accolades and awards. And maybe they feel like he's the guy that's going to come in and just, make some big hits, and kind of fill a need in that way and just kind of be able to be used in different positions, all around. And I know, Shep really spoke highly of him as well and just that humble. And you look at all these guys they picked, a lot of them were captains. And he kind of fit that mold of that. So that's what I make sense of it from just being around and covering them. But from just a talent standpoint, I'm not sure, man. If it felt like it was guys that was available there that they probably could have still got, on that defense to help them. Maybe another edge rusher, maybe another cornerback hire, which they did address later. But just at that spot, I thought it was a little bit of reach.
Talking to Eric Woodyard, ESPN Lions reporter. Eric, are you surprised that this team did not draft Jalen Carter?
I wouldn't say I was surprised because, as much as we want this to be, guys that take on character guys, nobody's pulled the trigger and really took on that since Ndamukong Suh and those type of guys. And I think they've kind of moved away in that direction. So I think it was a little bit of maybe scared of the risk of what was going to come along with the headlines of that. That's just me speaking just personally. But, if it was me, I think I would have pulled the trigger. I think he got the talent there. I would have just took that risk, man. I would have just said, hey, let's go. And I think we got the guys within our personnel, within our coaching staff, former coaches. I think they could have, molded him if it was any character issues there. But, I think that's who they should got personally. But I'm not surprised that they didn't take him just because I haven't saw them really pulling any, major moves like that recently to take on guys like that. So, yeah, I wasn't really shocked from that standpoint.
And then to add to that, what do we expect from this defense this year? In the last 10 games last year, Eric, this defense, as it grew and got healthy, they allowed 20.2 points per game in the last 10, and they won 8 of those games. And then this year you add C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Tracy Walker's healthy, you add Cam Sutton and Emmanuel Mosley, Josh Pascal comes back healthy, Brian Branch, Jack Campbell. This looks like a completely different defense from the one a year ago.
Yeah, definitely. It looks totally different. I think if you could even get just a little bit above middle of the pack for the whole season, that's got to be a success. You're looking at a defense that's been ranked at the bottom for the last 2 years, bottom tier So I think if you could just get some consistency throughout a whole year, you can't start 1-6. You can't, start that first year. My first year on the beat, what was 1-10-1 or whatever it was before they won a game. I think if they can just keep some level of consistency, I mean, that's what you got to have throughout a whole season. So if the defense looks remotely better, I got a chance to talk to Aiden Hutchinson last week, and I will tell you this. The dude is fired up, man. He said he's already training 5 or 6 days out of the week, changed his diet. And I think it's going to start with guys like him changing that culture, coming in, feeling like he's not just a rookie. I can take over a leadership role a little bit. You got some dogs there. I don't think you're going to see, them come out and be as bad as they were to start the season. I think if they could just stay consistent throughout a whole year of being, you're not asking them to be the best defense team in the league, but just stay consistent, throughout a whole year, not be, bottom tier. I think that's got to be a success.
Hey, Eric, last one from me. What's your take on the Swift trade? Would the Lions have been better off holding him, or do you like the deal that they gave him to a Super Bowl team?
Man, I mean, you look at the last couple of years, and they've done everything in their power to keep this guy healthy. They lightened his reps. They did everything, man. I mean, his body just wouldn't hold up for whatever reason. So I think, they had to do what they had to do. They had to move on. They saw the guy who they really liked, and they got something in return for it. So I think it was, in fact, a win-win for both sides.
Okay.
I didn't know what high of a pick they would get from him. I mean, they got, what they were able to get. So I think I really do think it was a win-win for both sides with the direction that they're looking to move forward.
All right, Woodyard, you're on the clock right now. Detroit Lions 2023. What's the record and how far do they go if you got to make it in the playoffs?
Man, I got 10 wins.
Okay.
I got 10 wins this year. I think they will make. I don't think they're gonna get out that first round, but I think they will get in the playoffs. You know what I mean? I think 10
so
wins
wild card. You got them as a wild card. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
That's fair.
11 wins max. Yeah, I think that.
Okay.
What wild card? I almost fell out of my chair. Wild card, division champs, baby. Come on, home playoff game.
I want it to be that too, man. Come on, now I want it to be that, but I mean, I gotta keep it real, man. I think they got a chance to win a division. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you got to show me, man. This
he's like, you got to show. You heard what he said. He said, Ryan,
my whole life. So.
He said when I first started the beat, they was what 110 and 1 or something.
Yeah, come on, man. I've been let's keep it real. I ain't gonna put it too high. I've been born and raised. I watched a lot of these Lions teams over here.
10 wins in the wild card is better than the Detroit Lions have done in a very long time.
Hey, Eric, thanks so much, my friend. Can't thank you enough for the time. Continued success. All the best. Hope to talk to you again down the road here.
Definitely. Got to talk to him
appreciate
again.
All right, you got it. Eric Woodyard. Give him a follow on Twitter at @E_Woodyard. Lions Beat for ESPN.com.
Found another good one.
Absolutely.